this book was written keeping in mind the readers, which in industrial security come from three different sectors. First sector is of those who provide the security service, the manpower side of security service. So they provide the manpower, which requires to be trained to the sectorial requirement. Like oil and natural gas sector needs different kind of experience and skills of security guards, whereas in hospitality sector their soft skills are more prominently required, whereas in aviation security again skill sets would be different. So one is to keep that knowledge base for security service providers, the manpower, which will do different kinds of jobs when they are deployed. That was one sector which was in my focus. Second one was those who are going to use the services being provided by such people, end user, the security manager, security executive, security chiefs. They also need to know what is and how security management is to be done. What is security management, that is to be understood, and how it is to be managed, that is to be understood. So that was second sector in my mind. Third sector was those who provide the solutions. The solution providers must know the requirement of end users. They offer the best option available in the market to end users. And end users must know what is happening in the technological front. So these three sectors were in my mind, and the entire structure of the book is framed in such a manner that it addresses all three sectors. Sakshi, should I go further?
Absolutely. If you would like to add about your book being used as subject expertise in a lot of universities as well.
Yes, having this book published was in any case not very easy, because this is the subject which is not very common and not very appealing to readers. Those who are in security profession, they only would be interested to read it. But unfortunately, there was a feeling prevailing, which has been removed to very large extent. But the feeling prevailing was that security executives, security managers don't read much, and they virtually write nothing. So their stories of success were not known, and how they professionally manage challenging circumstances, the situations which they face every day, and the kind of hard work and challenges they undertake was not known. And the environment was as such that this is the kind of subject which is left to those who have just retired from armed forces, those who have just hung their uniform. They get overnight their visiting card printed as security consultant or professionals, advertised to the whole world that they are the real person in the field, and they are to deliver. But far from truth, there was lot of unlearning to be done before they start learning the nuances of industrial security management. Those who have been in the field will certainly support my view that armed forces automatically will not prepare anyone for industrial security career. We come from different work culture, we have different attitude, we have different aptitude, and at times our soft skills are not so frequently practiced, because armed forces work culture environment would permit different skill set, different attitude. So when they come to the industrial security, the diplomacy, the maturity, the tactfulness, and the presence of mind, which is required to be applied, sometimes would be in not sufficient measures. So understanding that the book has got one chapter which is talking about how to become a good security professionals and highlighting such characteristics which are required for a good security professional. He needs to be having managerial skill, administrative skills. He should be, guide. He should be philosopher. Of course, all the leadership is, traits which are required in security profession too. But what is the requirement of the profession is also being very tactful. Whereas in armed forces, one needs to move in a straight line. Here, this profession gives you options, multiple options, and what options you exercise will decide how successful you would be. So in our profession also, in industrial security profession also, it is very popular, saying that at the end, what is decided is whether you were right or you were left. In this situation, in COVID situation, what is right is what is left. Today's norm would be our future. Today, when we have worked in such challenging circumstances, tomorrow it is going to be the benchmark. And those who tactfully, very wisely handle present situation will be the leader of the profession tomorrow.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Captain Tyagi. It's interesting how you've covered all three stakeholders of the industrial security sector: the ones who are providing the security services, those who are providing technology services, and the consumers as well. I would now want to invite some folks who wanted to give their insights and reviews about the book itself. In the meantime, if any of you have any questions, you could type those in the chat box and we can take that towards the end of the session today. As first off, Major General Sanjay Soi, what are your insights and reviews and what do you think the book has to offer? I think you're on mute. 1 second.
Yeah. In fact, is I would say memorable day for me when my daughter is hosting my course mate who is like my elder brother. And I don't have to introduce Captain Tyagi. All of you know about how professional he is, and now you have heard of his journey also of writing the book. In fact, this book, I have read this, covers the wide spectrum, right from grassroots level to the management aspect. So this is very important because what he just covered, that security profession is not what people think it is okay, anybody can do it. It's a lot of technical things and lot of nuances are involved. And he has been working on it to upgrade and raise the bar of the training of the security personnel. He has been continuously at it. And he has brought it out, highlighted this aspect in the book also. And we all know his fight towards skill development of the security personnel, security professionals, and he has been at it, number of seminars, number of guidelines, and with Capt and ICISSM, both of us have been working, tying up with the government to raise the bar of the training and to ensure that the trained personnel are available to the industry. And I would also say it is very interesting book for the industrialist also, not only security professionals. So they all know what all they can expect from security agency or the security provider. So end user also can use this. So I think it is a wonderful thing for all of us that we must make use of expertise and experience of Captain Tyagi. The book is already doing very well, and I look forward to more and more people making use of his wisdom through this book. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Sanjay.
All right. So I'll also invite Colonel Semwal to give his insights about the book. Sorry, I'll just unmute you. Yeah.
Done?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Well, viewers, I know that Captain Tyagi has co-authored 2 more books on the industrial security, and he's a very, very expert professional in the country. But I want to ask, Captain Tyagi, that there are 2 essential components of the industrial security: the digital and the physical. Now, whereas the physical is manpower intensive, the digital is very costly. So in your views, how to strike a balance between, for any industrial person, for any establishment, how to strike a balance between these 2 and come to a very optimum results in terms of the cost effectiveness and the efficiency of the security. What are your views on this?
Yeah, thank you, Colonel Semwal. The question, if I am permitted to say, in Hindi, this type of question is called yaksh prashn. Yaksh prashn are those questions which in Mahabharata especially are asked during the most challenging circumstances. When Pandavas are thirsty, dying, and they need water, and when Nakul Sahadev goes to the lake, before they go to get water, a most challenging, most difficult question is asked. But then question must be answered because you have to save your brothers. So similar question you have asked, and this question I am facing not today. I am facing since last so many years. When I joined Gas Authority of India Limited, then the first question I faced was from the director project, and he said that in my station, and we call them as compressor station, there would be only 20 people working, and they will be working shift. So each shift you can calculate how many people, 7 people at the best are working, and you want 24 security personnel on a shift basis to secure that compressor station. And I said that security cannot be correlated with the kind of people working inside the facility. Even if facility is totally automatic without any manpower requirement, still it needs to be secured. So here question comes about being cost effective. Cost effective is at the time was number of manpower which can be reduced and can be reduced further, and further you apply your mind and reduce it and go to a point where further reduction will start harming your security objectives. So that is the benchmark where you realize that even a person is reduced will be catastrophic to your security preparedness. And management must know to what extent they are willing to take risk. So your cost effectiveness is management's decision to take the risk. If they can take risk, they understand the threats. So threats and risk are related to each other, that they know what are the threats and they wish to take the risk. Because when things go wrong, they know how to manage it and minimal damage, minimal collateral damage. So that is the point when as security chief and as management, 2 parties sitting across realize that you can go only to that extent down, and reduction further is not possible. At the cost of reduction, you will have serious and very severe outcome. So that is cost effectiveness. But in today's world, it is not only manpower. Previously, focus was only on manpower. Now today, it is going to be mix of your technological deployment of kind of gadgets and systems available, and make a balance out of your physical security measures through manpower you have no certain physical measures, and then you have digital options available, technology which can be used. Whether you call it, CCTV or alarm management system or fencing, alarm detection system or scanners at the gate, whatever kind of technology you deploy, this is going to be permitted. Budget would be approved only when you can show the return on investment. Unfortunately, in security field, there is no tangent outcome of your being the best security manager. Even with the best security manager, you might be the best in the world, but what you can show is nothing. But I found it very difficult, and many other security professions equally find it very difficult to impress upon their management that when they show nothing, that is the best output. Professional outcome of their being best is that nothing has happened. My director, even till the point I retired, used to ask rhetorically the security executives how they can prove they are good, how good they are, and what all they have done, which can be quantified. So that was kind of question which is very difficult to answer, but then kind of question which should not come from intelligent minds. But such people still ask. So nothing to be said further about their intelligence, but then intelligence of the security people are when someone says that, sir, during this 1 year, if I was not the best, things would have gone wrong in 1,000 different ways. And today, if there is no murder, if there is no rape, there is no theft, there is no loss, that means I am good. And being good means nothing is happening. So that is related to each other. And again, back to making good balance. Good balance is that what you desire, if that is deliverable, and consider that if cost is so exorbitant that as good security professional, you find a kind of compromise that if this is the objective which could be found through different means, because you have enough systems, system costs money, regular annual maintenance costs money, spare parts, repair costs money. And if that is the recurring expenditure you are incurring, comparing to this, if you can find solution, better solution, maybe with the relatively low grade technology, or maybe with combination of additional manpower, which in India would cost certainly little cheaper than the best technology in the world. So that is the kind of combination, judicious combination you make, and that is how you reach a balance between human interface and the technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Tyagi. One more thing. You are a live wire of in the industrial security. I just want to know one thing, that at present or presently, all the security staff of the security guards, security professionals who are working, and if they have used, there's a need to use a weapon, it's all used under the pretext of right of private defense. And in this process, if somebody fires, somebody gets shot, the miscreant also gets shot, the only cover, legal cover available to the security professional is under the right of private defense of the Indian Penal Code. So, is there some legislation being talked about, or is there a step forward toward this process, that any legislation which is exclusive, which will cover exclusively to the industrial security professionals for discharging their duties or giving them protection if they use weapon, if they fire and somebody gets killed or somebody gets injured? Is there a step forward in this direction in the country?
Colonel Samuel, like in USA, where there is a department called Homeland Security. In India, unfortunately, there is no such department. Many publications in industrial security sector and few other publications and various federations use the word Homeland Security. I am very consciously aware of SOCHAN and FICCI having a Department of Homeland Security. I have been interacting with them. In fact, I am a member of such committee in SOCHAN and in FICCI too. Their meetings I keep attending. And I ask repeatedly this question: what is the definition of Homeland Security in India? And I ask them not to use the definition of American Homeland Security concept. So fact of the matter is, in India, there is no department as such, and there is no definition of Homeland Security. In absence of such department and definition, we are left with no special act which would permit armed security guard to use the weapon beyond the scope which is already specified in IPC under right to private defense. And the right to private defense here needs to be read with Indian Arms Act. And if you closely see the arms license, that book which we used to carry and we still have that book, if you read that rear pages of that arms license, it talks about clearly why and how arms for which this license is given are to be utilized. It makes link to right to private defense. Now question comes that when someone is using that weapon for doing the duty, industrial security duty, is he permitted? There is no specific act which makes such use of weapons permissible. We don't have mercenaries, army. That concept is not available in India. So use of personal weapons for commercial purpose is strictly prohibited. Right? So
Okay.
arms license and using your weapon for your employment purpose so that you get a job and you get salary is not permitted. But what is permitted is that someone can carry his weapon along with him while doing the duty, and while doing the duty, if he is faced with the situation where, as per his discretion, wisdom, and situational analysis, use of weapon is essential, then he uses it. But he has got no protection available. He has got only those protections available which under right to private defense are available to any citizen,
Yeah.
which give the expansion of use of force to the extent of causing death to a person, so that a threat to anyone's life and property that is movable and immovable, is to be safeguarded, protected. So that is right to private protection which is to be used, and no specific law or no legal protection available to armed guards. In fact, they are the first one who on first instance are put behind bars, and they get their bail approved little later, and court would ask them to justify the use of force by them. Have I answered the question?
Thank you very much. Yeah, very clear.